Welcome to writingalong.com. Today's episode is all about how you've been lied to about writing. This is really part of a mini-series you've been lied to about all kinds of various things. You'll find them in this 100 Days of Writing Advice kind of group together because they are related, but they're very distinctive. And as far as being lied to about writing, I don't mean there's these, thought police villains who are just, they're creating this dam of knowledge and information that is preventing you from hearing this stuff. I mean, there's a tradition in writing that's kind of spreading it. It's kind of cancerous. And the reason I say that is because it kills life. And it's something proliferating and growing. And it doesn't know any better. It's just kind of happening. But if you're aware of it, you can stop it. You can overcome it. That's really all it's going to take for you. And again, what it really looks like, these lies about writing, is that you got to live a really long life or something. You gotta have this like tomb of experience about everything, not just a few things, but I mean everything before you can become this writer. Or that you gotta be a certain age, you gotta be older, those are gonna be your golden years. Or that you gotta be younger, like if you missed it, like, oh, I should have been a writer when I was younger. That's when all my best ideas were coming to me, and that's the only time I'm able to write, that kind of stuff. Other lies about writing you've been told is that you learn it in a lecture hall. You learn it from this one esteemed professor who sold 800 billion copies of their book, and they have 500 books written in the past 2 years. That kind of thing. It doesn't work like that. Other lies about writing are that good writing it resembles these fantastic works of literature that some guy in an office space or whatever, some high tower, intellectual high tower, like praises. These are books. This is writing. And nothing anyone else says has any authority. This is what writing looks like. And if your book doesn't look like this, if your writing doesn't resemble this, goodbye to you. You're not welcomed into the entourage of writers and what it can be, and as an art form you're not allowed in. It doesn't work like that. Those are all lies that proliferate, and they look a little different. There's different spins on them for different walks of life. You might be told that writing is just a bunch of rules. It's just, you gotta have this in it and you gotta have that in it. And especially if you are more creatively oriented, and if you found yourself in a writing class that was more academically structured, you may blend the two worlds and you may think they're completely interchangeable, and the rules that apply there also apply to creative. You might feel stunted. You might feel like, wow, I don't really like writing anymore. I can't really express myself. What's the point? It's like I have to distill myself. I have to steal my actual identity as a writer and tone it down. I have to brush it down. I have to have all this criticism and feedback on what I write. In certain contexts, certain mediums, that's just how it works. That's how people like it to work. But it doesn't have to be like that for you. This writer's room. You pitch your ideas, and then people pick them apart, and they're the ones who really bring them to life and make them real. Now, that's true in television for all kinds of reasons, because you're dealing with a cast. You got all these individuals who they don't just want to be playing follow the leader. They want to, it's a team effort. But writing as a novel or something of the likes, it's very selfish. It's your name, it's yourself just being poured into one thing, and that's why books can have such a profound impact. That's why if you convey yourself in a certain way, books have been burned. Writers have been assassinated because of this kind of stuff. It's so much intensity as a potential. It doesn't mean you're always reaching that. You're not hitting that threshold and exceeding it. You're not always hitting that point of compression where you gotta literally watch your back. But you gotta understand that's the capability of writing. That's what writing offers to you. And if you think writing is just a little checklist, only that. Checklists can be helpful in your life, right? I have some that I make, but that's not all it is. There's so much depth to it. There's so much beyond. There's so much that can't be kept in a box. And as a writer, you've got to know that stuff it's lies. It's stuff that really prevents you from expressing yourself. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to feel confident in that ability, because I don't know how many people are going to listen to this, right? But if it's just maybe 10 people, 15 people, and they suddenly realize, wow, I can, it's not really about what I'm telling you, what David from Writing Along is telling you. He knows all the secrets. It's not that. It's more just recognizing within yourself that you get to define what writing means for you. You get to understand it. You get to connect with it. You get to decide what the limits of it are and what the limits of it aren't. And it's an amazing sense of freedom you really come to, that you find when you ignore those lies about what writing is and what it's not and what it has to be. It's amazing. I find it's like having wings. You know, it's, you can fly around the world. You can do what you want with your writing. And that's what I want you to experience as well. I want you to know that just because you've been told these things doesn't mean they're true. Doesn't mean you have to believe them. Doesn't mean that this is good writing and this is not good writing. And, you know, someone says you're not a writer. This doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. If you are writing something that looks like nothing no one has ever seen before, and you weren't trying to, congrats to you. That's originality as a byproduct of your own self, just being you. You're not trying to force it out. Again, the interesting stuff happens in writing when you disregard all that stuff, when you kind of cut out the noise, these lies. And all these lies, they do have a real effect on you, which is kind of frightening. And it's something you let that frightening aspect just kind of encourage you to move past it, move beyond it, and don't hold on to the lies. If you don't actively acknowledge them and point them out, they're gonna drown you. That noise is just gonna be too much. It's just gonna be too much to hear. You're not gonna be able to focus on your own words, on your own message, on your own medium. What are you trying to say, and what's getting in the way? Most likely, these lies. Again, you don't have to subscribe to this is that, this is that, this is this, this is all that. I have to follow this, I have to do that. If my writing doesn't have that, it's a failure. That's not true at all. I mean, writing can't be cataloged. Now, I'm telling you, you may think classical literature is the be-all, end-all. And if you take certain writing classes, it may not even be that. It's other genres that people say, you got to abide by this. This is what it really should be. And it's those discouraging moments that I think they kill writers at their early stages, because they think that's all they have to, that's what it is. It's not true. To the point where you have to keep telling yourself that, you have to keep repeating it to yourself. I'm recording this and I'm intentionally repeating myself a lot because I just want to get this through to you. If you've heard it, if you say, okay, David, I get it, cut the video off. You don't need to hear it repeated to you this much if you already get it, but I need to make this clear, because I don't want this writer who has this amazing idea to just never make it into something, to just think that it's boring, it's not fun, it's not doable for them, that their writing isn't accepted by their peers, by their teachers, these figures of authority in their life, so they have to just say, give up, call it a day, call it a life as far as a writer. Okay, I'm done, I'll move on. But no, writing it's so fulfilling. It's just it fills you with something that nothing else really can come close to. And I talk about that a lot because I want everyone to experience that. Every writer who's aspiring towards expressing themselves through words written down, just keep that in mind. Keep your eye on that. Keep your mind on that. Keep your heart on that. And that'll keep you propelling forward. It's that momentum that you need to, convey these thoughts to you. What lies have you been told about writing? Which ones stick out to you? Which ones have been really limiting you and making you feel like you can't be a writer, making you feel like you're not a writer because you've just been told that. And I want to know, legitimately tell me, and I want to open that discussion with you. I will read every comment as far as I can. Every email you send me, I'm just curious. It helps me make these videos. It helps me understand how to teach others more about this stuff and move past them. I guarantee you, though, if you don't want to write a comment or send something out, cool, that's okay. But just tell yourself in your mind right now, what's that lie about writing that's holding you back right now? What's that lie about writing that stops you in your tracks, that makes you feel like it's not something you can do, like writing isn't enjoyable, like it's not free. There's no freedom to it. What is that? What's that statement? Who told it to you? When did they tell it to you? And why do you think? Now, you don't have to answer that why do you think, because it really doesn't matter. The second you can point them out in your head is the second you can start throwing them aside and just discarding them and understanding they had a place, they had a context in your life. They may have even come from a good place, but you can stop believing them. People tell you all kinds of things. You hear lies all around you every day, small ones, big ones. You hear them on the news. You hear them everywhere. You're kind of conditioned. It's just normal. Why wouldn't that be true with writing too? Sometimes lies don't have any basis. They're just flat out lies. Learn that you don't have to listen to them about writing, and learn that that's going to help you unlock the writer within you as well. I want you to check out on my website. I have this guide, how to write a book in 30 days. Most people want to write a book. Most people want to write a book in a reasonable amount of time. Go check it out, completely free. Let it sit in your inbox and just remind you to write your book. I make this a point quite often in these episodes. You have something to say. I'll see you on the next episode, and thanks for stopping by.